Hey guys, here's the gear for today. It's been a while since I have shaved, as you can see. 2 weeks, something like that. Been super busy at work. Trying a couple of new things. Only the blade actually is new, is not new. Perma-Sharp, I've put a few uses on it. The soap is a base that's I've used before plenty of times, Milksteak. Declaration Grooming Daemon. Sounded like a scent that I might like to try out. And so when I made a Black Friday order at Maggard, I got this as a sample. Black Friday also caused me to order Scarn as a Stirling balm. They had a good deal on these. And that's a good performing balm, and I like the nice cologne kind of scent of Scarn, and I love the cultural implications there. The other gear is a razor also procured through this year, 2022's Black Friday sale from Maggard. A Pearl Blaze DE razor, safety razor. It is a three-piece. It looks to be a DE89 clone type of head, and it's a proven design that a lot of people like. I don't happen to like it very much because it doesn't have a lot of underblade support close to the edge. So we'll see how this razor turns out. It does differ from the Muley, the Jagger DE89 series, the Maggard V3. It differs from those because it's brass and it's plated, and instead of underneath the plating there, it's brass instead of the pop metal that you see with the other brands that I mentioned. And so there are definitely people out there selling the DE89 head as a rebranded item for $50, and they're talking about this from a recycling, saving the world, or a manly man kind of story. You know, Vikings Blade is really good at putting stories on their equipment, right? And other companies do it as well, and it's nothing fancy. You can get it from China for $6 or $8 for those ones that have pop metal as the makers, right? But this guy's different, so we'll see if he shaves differently. That is more important after all. Doesn't matter if he lasts forever if you don't enjoy using him. This will also be my first use of this, a High Mountain White Badger Knot and a CaYuen handle. I have browsed their Etsy site a good many times because they do offer handles, and I am one who definitely enjoys assembling my own brush. I have avoided most of their handles because they just don't agree with kind of my style. This one came in a lot purchase that I did, and I don't normally like this type of design where it's fat here, skinny here, and then drops off. However, this is bigger, much bigger than most of the others that I have used of this design. And so this could, because of the size, be a shape that I enjoy. I've had him soak in for about 15 minutes. I have used several different High Mountain White knots over the years, and I've kind of put them in two camps. There are ones like the Stirling High Mountain White that are very soft, pillowy, luxury. It's what I picture when I think of those. Just a cloud on your face kind of thing, ultra comfortable. There are others, I can't remember. Is it Envy Shaves something? Anyway, there are other companies that have done a High Mountain White. I think Zenith might be in this camp as well, where the tips are more natural, more scrubby, less plush and luxurious. This may be that kind, but we'll see. It doesn't feel as soft as a Stirling type, but we'll just see. It feels like it's got a lot of hairs here. I feel like I've got some backbone due to the density, but it really has expanded now that I've had it in some water. Gotta get it under some more water just so we can get that back in the knot. So we start kind of from a baseline. And I am going to get a measuring spoon to dish out the Daemon. Before I do the spooning and scooping of the soap, while I have dry hands, let's put the blade in the razor. Perma-Sharp stainless, and I believe it is the same as the Perma-Sharp super stainless. I actually got a bulk load of these maybe a year ago. Seems like time has flown. At Walmart. Very good price. The Walmart.com. They, like Amazon, they have different sellers on the Walmart.com website. I wish that the washer was a little thinner so that it could let the more teeth grab on this, but it should be fine. Now, looking at it, something to check out is, where does the blade stick out? Does the blade, as it moves along your sight line, does it undulate? You know, is the head not quite even along the ridge there? It looks fairly straight, not perfectly straight. All right. Also, with this kind of razor, sometimes you might need to align the blade, but I hope not, because the end tabs are actually covered with this head design, so it would be tough. It would be tricky to align it. Looks like it has aligned properly here, and so maybe the tolerances of that top cap are such that it's going to align the blade properly. I don't know, but check it every time just in case, until you get a good mini under your belt so that you know it's going to do that every time for you. Let me get my face wet. All right. Definitely some like incense, frankincense, amber, you know, kind of those brown type sensations. Probably a little bit of sandalwood in there, something like that. Let's take a little bit more than a quarter teaspoon. Rub that excess on my face. Beard is wet now, so let's spread this in the bottom of the bowl. As I'm spreading that around, I'm picking up some light florals, as well as those kind of rounded brown type incensey kind of scents. All right, let's see that. He wrote something on his website about Daemon. The name comes from, in the world of computing, a daemon is a computer program that sits and waits and watches for something to happen, and then it acts. I can't remember exactly how he worked that into the scent description and into the focus of the scent, but he did. Now, I'm not expecting this lather to perform super well at first, because after all, I do have a big old beard here. I intentionally chose this High Mountain White Knot because of my big old thick beard-ish here. And I thought if this was one of those rougher kind of High Mountain White Knots, then it might deal a little bit better with my beard instead of something super dense. Because in this same lot purchase, I also got a B7, a B11, and a couple of B9As knots, a Declaration Grooming. And so I am looking forward to trying those out, because I've never tried the 7 and the 11 before. Based on my reading, they don't look like knots that are going to be immediate favorites to me, but they came in the lot. And so I thought, what a great way to try them out. It was at a good price, and so I'll be able to try them out, and if they don't work out for me, I can just sell them. So Milksteak is a tremendous base. It's not really as nice as some of the other bases in terms of the kind of slickness that it offers, but just for me, the kind of slickness that I am looking for. A lot of people love Milksteak. I mean, I like Milksteak a lot, but it's just kind of a different, it's a nuance, you know, and so I don't want to come down on it at all. It's just not quite my preferred style of slickness, but it'll give a wonderful looking lather here without too much problem at all. That's a big knot. In the photos, that knot did not look that big. And we have my jigger. I think I'm liking this handle type. It's large enough to where it works. And that's what happens so often when I buy a lot of products. A person who's just selling it all in one box. I often discover something I just wouldn't have guessed that I liked. Because with that, you are often buying some things you want, and then there's probably some things you don't want, but you don't mind because the price is so nice that even if you throw the stuff you don't want away, you're still left with a good value. And that's what happens with lots. If you're lucky. If you're unlucky and you buy a big old lot, it turns out to be stuff you don't like and you have to resell it, then you better hope that you can sell it for the same price you bought it, right? A lot of bristles in this particular knot. I don't know if it's a high mountain white that comes if you buy a CaYuen handle, you know, if it's the one that they sell on their site, or if it's just a high mountain white that the guy got separately. I'll have to ask him, the one I bought this from, and see if he is the one who assembled this custom or if it's all from CaYuen, which, by the way, I hope I'm pronouncing right. I can feel the firmness of the bristles here. Lots of bristles. So I can feel that kind of density and resistance to splay. I would say it's somewhat easy to splay. And there we go. That is kind of what I've come to expect. The lather from Declaration. A very creamy looking wet lather. Should do very well. Scent wise, yeah. I'm still kind of getting those incensey kind of notes. Definitely woody. I can't wait to look at the description. Guys, I will try to look at the description after I record this video. And so check the description notes of the scent of the soap here. And then I'll try to talk about those in the description of the video here. But for right now, this is a blind evaluation of the scent. The notes that I'm getting are kind of warm and brown and woody, incense, amber, that sort of thing. Those little, now when I smell the tub here, I get the hints, the very tiny hints of those florals, but I got a feeling those kind of burned off a little quickly. Those are higher in the top note, in the spectrum there, and so they are going to not stay around for as long. I wouldn't be surprised if they left. That looks terrific. Let's bring it up like I so often do. Show you kind of the consistency. Yep, it looks pretty good. Let's go for that. Get my face wet one more time. I would totally understand if my beard and the oils on my hair killed the lather. Because I didn't do a face wash or anything like that. This, what you're looking at right now, is my face wash. Matter of fact, let's just shave. I was going to just rinse this off and kind of treat it as a face wash. Yeah, you see the oils in my beard, maybe a little bit extra water are kind of killing the lather. That's to be expected. Maybe someday I'll learn if I have this much stubble, I should come at it with a slightly drier lather. I'm really pleased that the knot's pretty easy to splay. All right, here we go. Slightly slopey hands. How does the handle feel here? It feels pretty secure. I think I'm happy with that. Not super secure, as if it had a more aggressive knurling, but pretty secure. Now, start at the top. Gonna go slow. Moving through the hair easily. No tugging. When I have this much stubble, it's not the time to try to evaluate the aggression. Need to wait until stubble is more reduced. I think I'm going to have to unscrew the cap a little bit to be able to clear the razor. Yeah. They got pretty clogged under there. This is not like a Fatip open comb that you don't have to unclog at all. I don't think it would be a problem if I was trying to use this razor for a normal growth. So I'm not going to hold that against the razor. And if this razor were a part of my den and I didn't have a lot of choices, I would definitely use some clippers or something like that before I shaved, if I had them. So that I wouldn't have to do that every time. And there we are. Not too bad, really. Well, that is a lot of stubble taken down. Doesn't feel very rough. It's not as plush as the Stirling, but it's almost like the hairs are thicker, but just as soft. The Stirling High Mountain White feels luxurious and a fine kind of luxurious, where this is just kind of a more robust but soft robust. I like it. Go cross grain now. It's a wet lather. You can kind of hear that telltale scrapiness that the DE89 style heads have, and it does seem to be working in that same way. Now, some people like the noise that the blades provide when they give that chatter. Some people call it audio feedback. I don't really like it as much. I mean, I don't mind a little bit of sound, but usually I like the smoothness that comes with less sound. And anybody who's watched my channel for a while, I've talked about the blade vibrating at the microscopic level as it moves across your face and thereby being less smooth. But I'm happy with that. With just those 2 passes, I can easily walk away and go to just about any job out there and still be regarded as properly shaven. And so I think it's really quite efficient. It's got that going for it. I've rinsed my face a little bit, so now last pass. And this one is only necessary if I just want to kind of clean up little bits. You know what, let's see if there's anything under the blade from that other pass. Oh, there actually is on one side. I'm going to have to pay attention to that in a future shave. When it's more normal stubble, make sure that you have enough room to get everything out of there. Let's even up that sideburn there. Do a little barber work. Pretty easy to find the proper angle here. There was some stubble stuck underneath one of the sides. That may be a little concerning. Well, this is giving me a very close shave. Took a moment there just before the rinse to just kind of let the scent soak in. And the great thing about it is it's in me, in my area here in a very nice way. It's not weak. It's very available. It's just a medium strength in terms of the cloud that's around me. So I'm able to, I think, apprehend a lot about it. It does feel a little classy, but it's not putting on any airs or anything like that. The warmth is still there. There's light florals. They've gone. It's not quite super woody. The cedar kind of woody nature, the pine woody scent that you get, it's not that kind of woody. It would be more of a murky woody or a light sandalwood kind of thing. So don't think of it as a woody scent necessarily. I think there's amber in there. There may be a little vanilla in there helping things out, but it's not, to me, a gourmand scent. It doesn't immediately make me think of cooking food, even sweet foods, that kind of thing. I think it's very interesting. I do think it would be a scent that might be good to have as a cologne, because I think it would be at home, and maybe he said this on his website. I think it would be at home if you were out chopping wood or if you had taken your wife out to a nice place to eat. I think it's kind of great for both scenarios. I think because of its warm nature, its brown feel, its the spices and that sort of thing, it may lend itself to some time of the year, maybe not summer, but honestly, I bet you could probably wear it and eat as well. But it might be especially nice on a cool or cold day. Not picking up anything else for now. So that's just my take on it, kind of in a blind way. And you can see how much I have left. It would have been easily plenty of soap if I had not had a whole lot of stubble that kind of swallowed up the lather. But even so, we still have enough for another pass, definitely. Very happy with the brush. I didn't expect it to be that soft. It was it had a lot of hairs, but they they're coming out and then they're losing their stiffness once they kind of come out. And so I definitely found a range where it was easy display. It was a easier display than I thought it would be based on how I was feeling it when I was working it in the bowl. And that was a pleasant surprise. So very nice. I think I might just keep this guy around just as he is. Very happy with that. We used how much water with that? 1/4 teaspoon plus of soap. And we used 14 milliliters of water. And I believe this location kind of has soft water. I don't really know how that plays out with things in terms of water ratios and things like that quite yet. All right, so the razor and its first time out. I do have a little bit of tenderness. Could it be that my skin isn't used to shaving because I had such a long beard? And even before that, I had another 2 weeks of growth. So you kind of think of it as I've shaved twice in a month. Yeah, that is different for me in past years, but life has just kind of gotten crazy this year. The gaps don't go all the way back where the hair could be. The hair can work itself way, the stubble and the lather can work itself up just a little bit farther than where the holes are. And I think that's what was causing the lockup. Very curious if it's going to lock up. It's going to clog up in a normal shaving scenario. That'll be fun to try out, a normal 1 day of growth. I'll bet not, but I'm definitely going to keep an eye out on it. I didn't pick up anything in terms of blade issues, any weirdness, any misalignments or anything like that. It felt very natural as I was moving it across my skin. The balance felt good. My grip felt good. No problems at all with that. It doesn't feel too heavy. It is kind of heavy, and so I think some people might think it's too heavy. If you have had razors that you thought were too heavy, but they looked kind of average, then you might find this one too heavy. But I think your average guy is not going to have a problem with it. I think I put on a Wolfman handle on this head, and I don't think it fit exactly. See, it might be threaded to something different. I think the Wolfman is threaded to that. Now, I'm not going to say. If you're curious, you can go to my website, sugardaddyShaves.com, sugardaddyShaves.com. I don't need to say it that fast, do I? If you go there, there is a threading page, razor threading, and it lists all the research I've done, all the different companies, and which kind of threading they have. And the Wolfman handle didn't quite go on all the way before it started tightening up. Now, I didn't push it far. Maybe it was fine, but I am going to I'm going to find out what threading this is. I'll contact the manufacturer. I'm sure Pearl will get back with me and help me out about that. They have been attentive to my emails in the past when I was dealing with them about the Flexi. The scent it doesn't really lend yourself, like I said, to some kind of cooking type scent. I definitely enjoyed it. There wasn't anything in the scent that kind of tweaked me the wrong way, so it fits kind of in my wheelhouse. The only thing was that kind of amber incense is definitely there, and you would kind of need to like that kind of a profile to enjoy this type of scent. Now, boy, I bet there are some other notes that you could put in here if you want, like if you had a more distinctive woody note, if you were a fan of pine or fir, if you were a fan of a stronger sandalwood would of course match with this. If you had a sandalwood splash, something like that, I think that would be a wonderful match after the use of this soap. But if you liked some more of the stronger wood, cedar, if you had a cedar type of splash or balm, I bet that's got to go really well with this. Maybe even amplify it into a different level. I bet that would be good. I think this also lends itself to a lean toward the lavender. I have a lavender spray, that's the witch hazel, that has a slight lavender scent. I bet that would be terrific with this. So today I am going to use Scarn. Now, who knows if it's going to match, because this is kind of a cologne type thing, and this is not a cologne type thing. We'll see if it's a good match. This is the first time I've had this particular bottle, this kind of bottle of the Stirling, and obviously it seems to be what they're switching to. At first, I liked the shape a little bit. However, I think the cap is a little cheaper. It's kind of translucent. It's just not as nice quality. But hey, you know what? Maybe this is what Stirling has to do to kind of keep the prices low. The bottle material seems very nice, very good quality here. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you were able to find a cap out there somewhere else that would fit this, you know, if you were wanting a better snap or just something that you just had a little bit more confidence in. It does feel a little cheap. Hate to say that about Stirling, but I'm going to call it like I see them. But I think it'll last you. I think it's it's not something you need to worry about. Put a little bit of water on my face and help this balm to kind of spread around. And we'll see if this scent is any kind of match. That light tenderness that I experienced during the shave is already gone even before I put the balm on. Very, very close shave. All right. Definitely some like aquatic in there that is showing off as a difference between this and the Daemon. I bet it's working. I don't think it's clashing. I think it's either adding to or helping, that sort of thing. Let's clean up some gear. So now I've toweled it dry, given it a good rinse, slung it out, and as usual, it has taken on a much larger knot size, right? That just happens all the time with badgers. And you can see a little bit of the curl in the tips. Usually with high mountain white knots, they're not treated, I don't think. They're kind of like silver tip, 3 bands, and it's a pretty new brush. And so without too many uses, I'm not going to be surprised if I keep finding hairs for a little while. But I don't think most of the time they need to treat the high mountain white knots with the same kind of bleaching agent that they do with the finest badgers. And so that's why you're probably not going to have gel tips with this kind. But it had kind of a natural softness to it, kind of similar to the silver tips. But I think maybe it had maybe a little bit more backbone, a little bit more strength in the strand of bristle than a silver tip does. And so I think if you think silver tips are floppy, then this high mountain white might offer you similar softness, but without the floppy nature. It might be a good one for some people. I definitely enjoyed it. I'm going to keep it around. Of course the pearlizing and the translucency here of the handle is just terrific. That's very nice. I don't think the Scarn is really working super well with the soap, but the soap is likely to fade with the Scarn hanging around maybe a little bit longer. So I don't think it'll be too bad, but I wouldn't really recommend this combination. Pick something else. I just wanted to use this because of Black Friday. It was a Black Friday purchase, and I just kind of had a craving for it, you know. If anything changes in 20 minutes, I feel differently. I'll put it in the description of the video that magical combination started to work better, or, you know, something like that. So a good out in terms of my first impression of the Pearl Blaze. 2-year warranty if you buy it from Pearl. You have to register apparently. We'll take out the blade. Let's just take a look at that. I do like Daemon. I don't know if I like it enough to buy a whole tub. Yep, everything went very well. I did give it a good rinse and stuff, so we don't see any schmutz around on here. So it looks like the Perma-Sharp is a nice blade with for use with the blaze, at least for me. 1/4 teaspoon was about the right amount. Told you about the water, the soap. I think we're good. Any questions? Just post them below about the blaze. Again, this is a razor, the Pearl Blaze. Here's the box that it came in. I did do an unboxing video where I showed you all the things that come with it. It's made in India. It is brass in the center and then plated. A triple layer of plating. I don't know exactly the materials of the plating, but it does seem to be a lifetime type ingredient material. See if you can read any of that stuff. Is there anything important I need to tell you? It's got a customer care phone number and an email, pearlshaving.in as the website. So I think that's a reasonable razor. I think it's not as nice as some. I would probably gravitate more toward the Fatip. If we're talking about kind of inexpensive lifetime material razors, the Fatip is smoother for me, and so I'd probably head toward that. But honestly, if I had this one as well, I would probably bring it out every once in a while and use it. We'll use it some more and get some, and make that, turn that first impression into a more educated impression. All right. There we go. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. I wish you all the best. We do have the 500 number, the 500th shave for the Nasset coming up in a while. I don't know exactly when. I didn't want to use the Nasset to take down this much growth. My next shave will probably feature the Nasset. I will give a few days, at least a few days warning, because I'm going to try to figure out a way to do a live shave with the 500th shave. I want to give you guys a few days warning at least, so if you are able to join and would like to, that you can have that information. So what I'll probably do is use the Nasset up to $4.99 and then pause and then use other blades for a little while I try to figure out my schedule and when I'll be able to use it. Things are just so in flux right now that I don't want a curveball to come in and make it so that the live shave doesn't happen when I say that we're going to make it happen. I'm going to try to plan that out wisely. Looking forward to it though. So that's it. You guys take care. Good night.